Hi, this is Tony Reese, and welcome to My Life Lessons Showcasing Veterans. Today, my guest is Judy Hoffmeister. Welcome to this very special project.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
So take a moment and tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you were of service and where you served.
Okay, I joined the United States Army in 1970. It was the Women's Army Corps that I went into. Was in there for about a year and a half, married, got pregnant, and in those days you couldn't stay in the Army if you were pregnant, so I was discharged. Around 1990, first Gulf War, I decided I was going to go back into the Army Reserve, and I did. And I stayed in the Army Reserve until 2012 when I retired, so I have about 23 years of military service.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. So who was your inspiration during your time of service, and why so?
I had a lot of people that inspired me. It was usually the people that I worked with at that time. They were good people. They knew what they were about. They were about taking care of the country, doing their job properly, taking care of soldiers. And you got into that momentum of being in the right place at the right time with them to do your job the right way. And so it inspired me to always strive for doing the best I could.
So because they were, their motivation and what their purpose was, that inspired you?
I fed off of those people that were always looking to do the best.
Mm. What was your greatest life lesson that you learned during that time of service?
I think the biggest thing that I had learned was that teamwork is the most functional way to get a job done. Nobody can do something on their own, solely on their own. You see a lot of people today who say, I did this, or I wrote this book, or I wrote this play, or I accomplished this. They may have been the leader in accomplishing something, but there's people behind the scenes that make you where you are going. Those teams that work with you to get you to the goal you want to get to are very important. So when somebody brags to me and says, I did this and I did that, I always think in the back of my mind, you may have done this, but you had people helping you, so you're not fooling me. And that's something I've always learned. I've never been able to accomplish anything without the support of either friends or family. And to me, that was extremely important, that they helped me get to my goals because of that.
Did you have that mindset as a life lesson before your service, or was it really showcased?
It was showcased in the military. As a young woman going into the military, it was all about me. I thought nothing about anybody else's support that I would get to go where I wanted to in the world. So being with in the reserves and an older individual, I realized that you're not going to become anything or a leader in any way unless you have people that follow you, people that support you. And that those people that support you, you need to acknowledge them, because it's teamwork that gets you where you're going in life. It's not just you.
What an important life lesson that is. How did you apply that mentality that you had to foster and work within? How did you apply that after service?
Well, I didn't retire until I was until 2012, and I was 60 years old when I retired. So after that, I was pretty much just my husband and me. But I'm now with the Women's Veterans of Berks County, and they voted me in as the commander. So I still apply all those values that I got from the military with organizing the women veterans. Teamwork, I don't think we can accomplish half what we do in the county without all of us working as a group and as a team. But I also see it with family too. If you've got family issues, you don't leave your family out in the cold. You've got to support your family. You have to always be either the one being supported or the supporting force, and that's how you get through life.
Do you find the other women veterans that you're working with now have that same mentality because of what they went through?
Yes. When you're in the military, you learn to work with teams. you're right from the beginning when you go into basic training, you're put into a squad, into a platoon, and you're given details that you have to do. You're very rarely working on a project by yourself or a detail by yourself. You're working as a group, as a squad, and the squad is only as good as the weakest person in there. So you motivate each other to do the best you can so that you accomplish what you have to do and do it the right way.
Something that's just coming to my mind, does accountability fall in there because it's a team?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
How so?
Well, you have to be accountable for your portion of the responsibility within the team. And if you let down your team, it fosters a feeling of not accomplishing your goal, of failure, and the feeling of failure is not as good as the feeling of success. So you want to bring out the best in everybody, and doing that as a team and getting everybody to do the best they can is accomplishment in itself.
How did your service and all of the many experiences that you have, how do you think it impacted your life?
How did it impact my life? It's part of me. I think my life would have been very boring had I not gone into the military. And that's why I went back in the reserve after so many years. I wanted to do something that was deep inside of me. It was, they always say your blood's green. Well, my blood was green. It had the Army inspiration in me, and I wanted to go back to doing that. I'm patriotic, and I felt that it was something that I got as much out of as supporting the U.S. Army and being a good soldier. So it was a two-way street for me.
It doesn't sound like it was a separate event to you. It almost sounds like it was interwoven into the other experiences of your life as well.
It was, especially after I went back in the reserves. But I knew when I was in high school I wanted to join the military. There was, and the Vietnam War was going on at the time too, and people were like saying, why would you want to go in there? There's a war, we have men being killed. And it was something I felt I needed to do. It was, the war was not a war that we should have had, but that doesn't mean you don't support the people that were made to do what they didn't want to. And the men back then were forced in through the draft to do what they had to do. And I felt like I needed to support that.
Judy, what does honor mean to you?
Honor is respect. It's feeling good about doing something the right way. Most people know what's right and wrong. Most people are taught what's right and wrong. Even if you weren't taught, you still have an idea what's right and wrong. Honor is doing the right thing at the right time, and supporting and taking care of things that mean something to more than just you. It's honoring another individual for doing what they did, honoring a country for what they do for its people, or honoring your parents for what they've done for you. It's respecting the people and appreciating what they gave to you.
What does freedom mean to you?
Freedom is happiness. You can't be free unless you're happy. And I've been to other countries where people are not free, and you can see it in their eyes. They're not happy. They might be living a life that was given to them from birth, and they'll never be able to change it. They will always be set in what they were born into. They will never have that freedom, and you can see it in their eyes. They know it. And that's why so many people want to come to this country. They can change their lives when they get there. They're not set in that peg like they are in these other countries. And being free means I can change things to make me happy. And the only one who can make you happy is you. That's the only selfish thing you really should do for yourself, is to make yourself happy. And freedom is happiness. It's doing what makes you a better person, a better citizen, a better mother, a better father, and just a better individual.
What an amazing interview you've given today. Thank you so very much for what you've done, what you continue to do, and
Thank
being
you.
part of this very important
Thank you so
project.
much. It's an honor to be here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
These life lessons are made possible in part by Tompkins Vist Bank, Lords and Ladies Salons, and Riverfront Federal Credit Union.